So seriously, one word, guys. I mean, 40 years. You want me to sum up 40 years in, well, I guess 2 words, but alright, fine. So I actually decided to challenge myself a little bit. And partially because I was just like, what in the world word do I pick? And then what memory? So I decided to go with one word for both Grandma and Pawpaw. And that word is creative. Because, oh my gosh, can you guys make anything? Like, seriously, Grandma can cook anything you think of. And I know that I learned almost all of my cooking skills from Grandma Janet. I have so many of your recipes, and they're so valuable, and I use them all the time. I may have tweaked some of them here and there, but I mean, that's just because that's what you do, right? I mean, I'm sure you've tweaked your recipes too. But I can specifically remember the at least the cooking memory that comes out most of my mind. There are actually 2 of them. I'm cheating, guys. 40 years, okay? So there are actually 2 of them. One of them I can remember when you guys had first moved up on the hill. We had a whole bunch of fresh blackberries, and so you were making blackberry dumplings, and I don't know if you invited me over to help or if I just showed up, but you taught me how to make blackberry dumplings, and oh my gosh, they're so good. Basically biscuit dough with blackberry syrup. So good. And then the other one is just a couple of years ago when I finally got a chance and the weather was right for Grandma to teach me how to make cream candy. And then I did it myself. I was so excited that it actually worked. It was one of the most exciting things ever. And then Pawpaw, again, creative for both of you guys, but Pawpaw's creative in so many ways as well. I mean, the woodworking is obvious with all of your intarsia work and all that kind of stuff. And my memory to go with that is, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I failed a class in medical school, and so I had to make up time. And so my 4th year of medical school, I had the option to do a class called Physicians in the Arts, and basically you had to make or do something creative. And so I got to spend Christmas at home for 4 weeks making intarsia projects with Pawpaw, which was one of the best things ever. I thought I was going to lose my fingers a few times, but Pawpaw kept that from happening. It was magic dust. And then the other creative thing that Pawpaw does is he has a way with words. And I'm sure we all know this, because he can explain anything. But the specific example for me was I graduated second in my class from high school, and so I had to give a speech. I'd never done public speaking before. So Pawpaw, I gave him the idea of what I wanted to say for my speech, and he made it happen. Because he can take even the ideas of a naive 18-year-old teenager and turn them into something amazing. So I have so many more memories that I could share, but I cheated. I went with 4. I'm sorry. But again, I'm going to take the pass. I love you guys. Have a great anniversary.
To describe Mamaw in one word, I would say persistent. One of my favorite memories is it's a little bit strange. When we were real little, she would actually come into the bathroom with us and tell stories or nursery rhymes or sing songs with us. So sometimes I would sort of take longer in the bathroom than what I really needed to, because I just really enjoyed the stories and singing songs. Just one other little thing though, say persistent, because Mamaw helped me a lot when I was younger, between Mamaw and Mom and some other people when they found out that I was dyslexic. I remember Grandma really helping with me learning to write my letters and my numbers. And I remember one summer looking out her big pretty picture window out on the farm, and everybody else was outside playing, and I was writing my numbers from 1 to 100, and she always made me that if I messed up, then I had to start back at 1. and I got to 76. And I think I made the 6 backwards or something like that. I messed it up because I was daydreaming looking out the window and Grandma came over and checked it because I was like, oh no, I was trying to erase it. She was like, nope. Back to 1. So that persistence and Mamaw helping with those types of things and not taking excuses, I have to give between her and Mom especially credit on me graduating college with a 4.0 GPA. So good job, Mamaw. Those are life lessons that are really important. And then for Pawpaw, I would describe him as intelligent. I'm just always fascinated with the knowledge that's stuffed into Pawpaw's head, and I like picking his brain sometime and then hearing stories too. One of my favorite memories though about Pawpaw is I was a big scaredy cat, and I hated losing teeth as a kid because they kind of hurt your gums when you have a loose tooth and you're trying to get it out, and I wouldn't let anybody else help try to pull my teeth when I was a kid because everybody else hurt. But Pawpaw, he had this really certain technique that he would get his finger behind whatever tooth it was and flick it out. He had the motion down pat, and it would go flying across the room sometime, or sometimes he would catch it in his hand. But Pawpaw was the only one that I would let try to get my teeth out with, even they were just barely hanging there by a thread. I would come home with a loose tooth or something like that, and Mom would be looking at it, and I'd be like crying and having a fit, and she'd be like, fine, we're going over to your grandfather's house.
Describing our grandparents in just one word is really, really hard to do, so I'm going to try my best. Here we go. Grandma, I would say that the word I would choose for her is magic. Because she can teach you how to do something with you being in the exact same room, and hers come out perfectly, but yours turn out terrible. I specifically think about whenever she tried to teach me how to make pie crust, and hers was beautiful, and mine was crumbly and just wrong. So there is just something magical about her hands. And her teaching me how to hand quilt things kind of worked the same way. So, like, I know that she has all this practice, but there's just something magic about her little fingers that is just magical. And Pawpaw, I think I would say his word is wise. And wise about a lot of things. He's really good at wisecracks, making funny jokes and things like that. But I think I just remember taking long walks and him always just talking about all the different trees and birds and things like that. He just knows a lot about a lot of things. I think one of my favorite memories of him on walks, though, was whenever he was carrying Pippin, the cat, up and down the road. And I was like, he doesn't have to carry the cat. But he was just carrying Pippin around, and I just remember that being so sweet. I love you guys.
So if I describe Grandma and Grandpa in one word, which is pretty tough, I would have to say example. They're definitely, I mean, even to this day in my marriage, in my job, in my life, I'm thinking like, what would Grandpa or Grandma do, you know, if there's ever a tough situation. Whenever I'd go to Kentucky in the summers growing up, there's always church events, there's always all sorts of fun things that we used to do, and I just always remember Grandpa's humble approach towards other people, and just how much respect he had, and how much love Grandma had for the family. And yeah, so even to this day, I'm thinking about how much those early memories and Grandma and Grandpa have influenced where I am to this day. So happy anniversary.